What's up YouTube, it's your boy Fitch and I am back today with a new video. So today I'm going to do my first ever Q&A. So on my Instagram at The Architect with an X, I did a story where I asked people if you have any questions, I'll take them and I'll do a Q&A about it. So I've got questions from that and I got some friends who gave me some questions that they wanted to ask as well. So that gave me a pool of questions that I can use for this video right now. So let's get started with the first question for the Q&A. All right, so the first question is, where do I get inspiration from? Okay, big guns. Inspiration, man. I get inspiration from so many different things. Like I go to watch a movie and I get inspiration, but I don't only get inspiration for film. I get inspiration for photography while watching movies, you know? So watching movies inspire me obviously to make film, but also to do photography and whatnot. I get inspired from paintings. Like you have no idea how paintings help inspire cinematography and shots. Like there's even a lighting setup named after a painter, Rembrandt. So paintings, obviously inspiration. Books inspire me for storytelling purposes, right? I get inspired from Pinterest. I have a Pinterest and I go on Pinterest almost every day looking at different shots, photography, cinematography, so many different things from it, you know? Life, people, conversations that I have with people inspired me. Like I wrote a story for a short that I got the inspiration from just looking at people around me. So I can get inspiration from so many different people. You can get inspired from so many different things. It's not just one thing that inspires me. It's just this amalgamation of like many things, you know, just film, photos, paintings, books, everything, you know? So that's what inspires me. So the next question is, should I go to school for photography? Okay, that's a very good question actually. I'm a photographer. I've done photography and I didn't go to school for it actually. I'm in school right now, but I'm in school for something else. So honestly, do you have to go to school for photography to become a photographer? No, obviously you don't. You don't have to go to school, but that's not the question. The question is not, do I have to go to school? The question is, should I, right? So it all depends on you, right? If you want to go to school for photography, go to school for photography, okay? You're gonna learn a lot of skills, obviously. And another thing, you're gonna make connections. You're gonna meet people that might help you in your photography career further down. People that are in photography school with you, people that are like your professors and whatnot that can help you when it comes to your career furthermore. So there are good incentives when it comes to going to school. The biggest downside of school is obviously, for me at least, time and money, right? You spend a lot of time in school and you spend a lot of money in school. So you have to weigh your choices, right? So basically, whichever for you makes more sense, then you'll do it. But it's not a must. You don't have to go to school for photography. You don't have to go to school for film, right? So sit down, think about it, and what for you makes the most sense, then you know, take that decision. The next question is, what type of projects do you have lined up? Okay, y'all trying to know the secrets, eh? So I have a couple projects lined up right now. Obviously, because of coronavirus, COVID-19, a lot of these projects have to be pushed back, but I don't think anything is being canceled, right? So when it comes to film, I was literally in the pre-production for a short film that I was gonna work on and probably produce in early May, right? So obviously that's not happening anymore, but I had a short film that I was working on. The script was done and ready. We were in the process of setting up casting calls and have actors come in for auditions. That's where we're going to get into, right? But obviously now this is gonna have to be pushed back. So I was working on that, and then I'm also writing shorts and bigger projects as well. So that's basically what I had in the works. Obviously with coronavirus, now things are gonna change a little bit. Hopefully I can still do those soon enough, but I'm not too worried because now I'm doing some YouTube videos. So yeah, that's what I had planned before all this started. The next question is, what camera do you use for photos? Okay, so most of my photos on my Instagram, at least, were shot with the camera that I used to have, the Canon 6D. But I've since sold that camera and I don't use it anymore. So I don't really own a camera. I just rent or use a camera from the studio I work at. And most likely it's either going to be the 5D Mark III or the 5D Mark IV. Sometimes I can borrow cameras from friends. I have a friend that has a 1DX, so it changes a lot. But I stay usually in the Canon realm, the Canon full frame cameras for photography. I'm going to be shooting weddings probably later this year, so I'm probably going to be using one of these cameras. I know Sony's very good, but I've never used Sony for photography. I don't own a Sony camera. I used to own an A7S, but it was for videos. So anyways, yeah, so Canon 5D Mark III and Mark IV is what I use right now, but I used to have a 6D for the last like 3 years. Next question is, what do you use to edit? Now that is a very broad question. What do I use to edit? Edit what, right? So I'm gonna guess that you want to know what I use to edit for everything, so I'll just tell you that, right? So for photography, I used Adobe Lightroom and Adobe Photoshop to edit my photos. Most of the time, majority of my work will be done on Lightroom, but sometimes there's stuff that's more complicated that need more detail that I will use Photoshop for. For example, let's say I'm trying to soften the skin on portraits or headshots, you know, I'm trying to do one of those crazy edits that I want to do, then I'll use Photoshop as well. So Lightroom and Photoshop is what I use for the editing for photography. Now let's talk about videography, filmmaking, and whatnot. So for my film, music videos, or commercials, there's different softwares that I use. Now, I don't edit all of my projects. I have someone, a friend, that edits a lot of my stuff. Actually, I have more than one person. So it depends as well on what software they use. But me personally, when it comes to cutting videos, I usually use Premiere Pro. For example, this video will be edited and cut on Premiere Pro. Now, I color grade almost all of my stuff. Like, I color graded my short film, Forgive Me Father. There's another short film we're working on right now called Pierre Saint-Denis. I'm color grading that one. And I color graded all my videos, music videos, or commercials. So for color grading, I use DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve is a software that's owned by Blackmagic, and for me, they have the best color grading software that's prosumer. Honestly, it's amazing. People might not like the whole node system, but I love it, and that's what I use to color grade videos. Color grading, I do it with DaVinci Resolve, and cutting, I do it with Premiere Pro with Adobe. Now, I also edit sound for these YouTube videos. I don't edit sound for my films or other projects that I do. There's someone else that does that. But when it comes to my own personal YouTube videos or whatnot, I edit my own sound, and I used Adobe Audition to do so. So that's the software that I use. So basically, when it comes to video editing, I usually travel between 3 applications. When it comes to photography, only 2 applications. Okay, the next question is, what drives you? What drives me? Honestly, I have a burning desire to create. Like, I don't need anyone to tell me to, hey, go do this, go create this, go write this script, you know, go shoot that video. I have that desire to create and to tell stories. Like, since I was a kid, actually, I used to write short stories. I even wrote like a fiction novel when I was a kid. I was like 11, you know, so storytelling was always something that I loved doing. Maybe because I have like a very like big imagination. I think about all different things, but I loved telling stories, and just the ability to tell stories at whatever level has always been something that pushed me, you know. Like, I don't want to be rich or whatever. I just want to be able to live off storytelling, filmmaking, photography, you know. So I think that this is what drives me, like the ability to create and to be able to live off that art, which is what I think a lot of artists are looking for. You know, that's what drives them, the love of that medium, you know, because if you don't love it, you're gonna get disappointed very early. So I think the love and passion that I have for what I do, and the love for storytelling is what drives me most. Okay, the next question is, wow, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Okay, 5 years. In 5 years, I'm gonna be almost 30. So honestly, hopefully, I hope to have made at least 2 feature films in the next 5 years. So 2 full-length movie. Actually, I wish I had directed, right? Because I probably will be working as an assistant director or maybe even a DP on another film. But I would want to have directed 2 feature film in 5 years. Probably have done 5 music videos or more, but like big videos, you know, not small ones. But yeah, living off my work, living off my films, living off photography, living off creative direction. I think that's a pretty good goal for 5 years down the line. But obviously, like, I want to have 2 features under my belt, 2 feature films directed by Fitch. Okay, who's your favorite director? That is a very good question. I think I have phases where, like, okay, this guy is my favorite director and this guy is my favorite director. I respect a lot of different directors for the different styles and the different visions, you know. Right now, I think Christopher Nolan is like my guy right now, you know. So yeah, I love his work. I've watched, I think, all of his movies except the first one he did, the one that he submitted to like some festival, and that's when he did Memento after that. That one I haven't seen it, but besides that, I think I've seen all of his film, and like, I'm amazed by his work. So Nolan is probably the one that I'm digging the most right now. What's your favorite film trilogy? Okay, I think I'm gonna go with The Dark Knight and go with Nolan. I think The Dark Knight trilogy is probably my favorite. I'm also a comic book guy, so maybe I'm biased when it comes to that. But yeah, I loved Batman Begins. I love The Dark Knight, obviously, and I love The Dark Knight Rises. I'm a big quote guy. Like, I love quotes, and like, I can quote you like 20 different things from that trilogy. So yes, definitely. The next question is, when is your film coming out? Okay, so I directed a short film called Forgive Me Father about almost 8 months ago, right? We shot that film in July. So it's been a while, and like, majority of people haven't seen it yet. So basically right now, the reason why it hasn't been seen is because we're submitting to film festivals, right? So we're just waiting to do the whole like festival circuit, and then depending on if we get a deal or not, then we'll probably have some screenings, and then after that it will be available online. So just wait a bit longer and then it will be available. The next question is, do you still do photography? Yeah, I still do photography. I still take photos. It doesn't take the paramount spot that it had and that it was taking in my life before, but I still do it. It's still the main source of income for me. So yeah, I still do photography. The next question is, what made you switch from photos to film? That's a very good question. Like I said before, I always had this love of storytelling, and I just felt like film was just the ultimate step of storytelling. Yeah, you can tell stories through photos. Obviously, it's beautiful, it's captivating, right? An image is 1,000 words, but moving images with sound, come on, you know? Like, I feel like that was the ultimate level of storytelling, right? Because you can tell stories through film so powerfully that's gonna hit people straight to the core. And I was like, I gotta get into this, you know, like, I need to. And that's what I did. If you could shadow along one actor, one DP, one director, who would it be? Okay, If I were to shadow along a director, I know I'm gonna sound like I'm contradicting myself, but I would shadow Scorsese because he has a long-lasting, almost perfect, basically perfect filmmaking directorial career, and like all of his movies are gold, and I would love to shadow that guy. Actor, honestly, it'd be between Denzel Washington and DiCaprio. One of these guys, you know, like Denzel's my guy, you know, like his roles are like notorious, you know, and then obviously Leo, like this guy has like 8 Academy Award nominations, you know, so probably one of these two. Maybe I would even throw Ben Affleck there because Ben Affleck is a very good actor director, so I would, you know, one of these guys. And then DP, I have 2, okay? I'm sorry I'm breaking the rules, but I have 2. It would be Roger Deakins, because he's like insane. Like, come on, have you seen 1917? Like, and then Emmanuel Lubezki, like Chivo. This guy, like, if you've seen Gravity, if you've seen The Revenant, like if you've seen any Terrence Malick films, you know, Lubezki cinematography is something else. So definitely one of these 2 guys. So I have some more questions, but this video is getting a bit long, so maybe I'll do a part 2 to my Q&A and get more questions and then do another part, because this is getting long and I'm not used to making longer than 10-minute videos. So I'm gonna stop right there. Thank you very much for all the people who asked questions. If your question hasn't been answered, don't worry, I'll do another part. And if you want to ask more questions, feel free to ask, and I'll add them to the Q&A and I'll answer those questions. Thank you very much again for watching this video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you like what you see. I have a lot of other videos, so go check those out on my channel, and Fitch is out.